Hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Someone made me an interesting comment about the fact that, they enjoyed my DXD reviews, but said that was concerned. Oh, because, I have like over well, I went and tried to shed some of those videos off. That's what I just did a little while ago. Okay. New spring anime. 2012. Accel World. Now, this is episode 2. I'm reviewing episode 2 of this. Didn't get the names correct yet. The only name. Oh, by the way, the guy who plays the main character in this show, well, take a wild guess who he also played. Shu from Guilty Crown and Issei from DXD. Blew my mind. The main character of the story. And I have my iPad here to find out his names. The main character, well, the guy who plays it is Yuki Kaji. And the name of the main character of this story is Haruyuki. I forgot his first name, but his last name is Haruyuki. So anyway, the whole premise of episode 2, episode 1, I didn't want to go into too much details. It's about really, it takes place in the year 2046. Wow. I was just thinking about that, like how old I'll be by then. I'll be like 60s. It was just crazy. Basically, everything is digitized. Everything is digitized. Money, and you're linked to the global network. And there's no computers. It's really crazy shit. There's no computers. Everything is digitized. So basically, it's like living almost in a virtual world. So when you're walking to school, you have these screens in your face. It's crazy. You're linked through that. But anyway, this was episode 2 of it. And this episode was called Transformation. And Haruyuki has already met this girl. And forgive me, I forgot her name. I will find out her name. She's a freshman in junior high school. But she's very popular. Very popular. In fact, in episode 1, she gives him this application to put in called Burst Brain. I believe that was it called. Burst Brain or Brain Out or along those lines. And she calls herself and him burst linkers or brain linkers. Very crazy shit going on. And basically what she said was that in episode 2, basically what's happening is there's a lot of things going on in this episode. Because in episode 1, she saves him kind of from these bullies by saying, "Oh, don't dodge the punch," because it's almost a lot of complicated things in it. What happens is when they use this brain out or burst out, they go outside their bodies and they go into what is known as the Accel world. Accel world, where you travel. I believe it actually traveled faster than anybody else. Could be wrong. Could be wrong on this, but I believe that's what she said about it. And very curious. This show, very curious. And she helps him beat get out these bullies, and they never bother him again after that situation. What ends up happening in episode 2, though, is Transformation, it's called. And he gets into a fight. He's actually playing a video game when he walks outside because he's connected to the global network. And it's like a 3D image kind of thing where he's known as Haruyuki is called Silver Crow. He created this image, and he's all metallic and shit, and he's got this green screen on his face, and he gets into a match, a fighting game match, virtual reality fighting game with this guy, Ash Roller, and of course he loses, and moving from there, she explains to her that this is what happens when you are still connected to the global network. There are a lot of interesting terms in this, but they're known as brain linkers. And she takes him to... he goes back into that world, and his character, when he's regularly there in the world, is a pig. Because this guy, Isiro Haruyuki, is very chubby. Very chubby. So... and she's talking to him about, about the situation where he's in, and telling him, you can quit if you want to. And he's like, no, I don't want to. You took me out of that hell. You're able to save me, supposedly, and so on and so forth. Just got into this anime, and this is pretty fucking cool. Pretty fucking cool. And from what she was saying, she basically is telling him all these different things. She's beginning to tell him how to fight. Because then she tells him to go challenge a Ash Roller again. Because the whole point is, when they're going into this accelerated world, if you're challenged by somebody and you lose points. They're called, I believe, burst points. And if you reach 0 burst points, you cannot reconnect to that world. Completely. You'll be completely cut off. And he's seeing it as if I don't win, I'm not going to see this girl again. I won't be with her anymore. So he decides to fight for her and so on and so forth. And already in this episode, he says, I want to continue to be your pawn. It's like, But basically he has the match with Ash Roller, and half the time he's getting his ass handed to him. There's one part where it seems like he's going to pull off a big move. Does a super move where he does a headbutt, messes it up, gets run over by this guy. And I'm like, oh man. But what ends on happening is he finds the weakness above his motorcycle, because this Ash Roller guy, drives a motorcycle. That's his strength, his weapon that he uses. Haruyuki, or I should say Silver Crow, grabs the back of the bike, is able to drag his legs around as he's riding on the bike. He's losing his health, and it's so cool. It's like 3D up the wazoo. It's like playing. Oh, it's so cool. And so what he's able to do is he's able to stop the bike, lift up the bike, because it doesn't have, the bike is gas powered. That was the whole point of that. And that's why he was able to do that. He lifts it up, and he does the super move again, which is basically a headbutt. Boom! And he beats him. And then they go back to the real world. And then, she's there congratulating him about it. He says, nice job, Silver Crow, and everything. And it's like, goody, goody, two-shoe. Then there's another character in this show also. There's actually, I count, besides Haruyuki and this, freshman that's very popular, it's also introduced to this, his friend, his female friend. And she's confronting the other one, and he's like, ah! He's like freaking out because it's like a confrontation between two girls. And you really think about it, this guy's really chubby. And it bogs my mind. But this show, and it is basically a confrontation, and that's how the episode ends. Pretty good show. Accel World. Accel World. Let me make sure I got that right. Hold on. Yes, Accel World. Accel World. And I love the girl that, showed him this world. I love what her avatar looks like. It's basically, she's got these red black wings and shit. I'm like, wow. Of course, his face thing is pretty cool too. It almost looks like his thing looks like a cross between like RoboCop and a Power Ranger, but I like it. It's like metallic and shit. And I first heard from this. The first time I heard about this show was actually from Yokorama Game Talk. He was going over the spring lineup. I didn't really know if I wanted to review this. But this episode was pretty good. So, Accel World, Episode 2, Transformation, Transform, you beat this guy. And now we have the confrontation between this girl and that girl. So, I'll get the whole gist of the names. I have to go through the names of who's who. But for this one, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. I want to see more. I want to see more of this show. This show's pretty good. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 5. We'll see. I think I can pull off 5 anime reviews. This show. It's Just a Zombie. Fate Zero, Season 2. Including the Amnesia show and that Naruka Koro-san show as well. That's 5. So, we'll see how it goes. But other than that, very good show. Interesting. I like what I see. A lot of sci-fi action going on. Digital world. I like it. You don't imagine if you could just... That would be so fucking awesome. You walk outside, and boom, you're playing a video game. In like real world time. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. They was, be fighting and everything. It's pretty cool. Alright. See you guys later. Tell me below what you thought of this. If you've seen the show, tell me what you think of this show. Because this show is fucking awesome. I like the action in it. Very sci-fi-ish, You don't get that many animes that they like that kind of feel towards it. Tell me what you think, guys. See you later.